Did you know downloading big files can get cut off if you jump to another page or your connection drops? That's where the background fetch API swoops in to save the day. It lets large downloads run in the background, so even if you wander off or the internet gets spotty, your files keep coming through. Just register a service worker and kick off a background fetch. If it's all set up right, you can nab a large file without a hitch, even a hefty 100 megabytes zip, all behind the scenes. Hey, so we're getting our hands dirty with service workers, which are like the backbone for cool web features. It's pretty straightforward to set them up. We check if the browser is cool enough to handle a service worker, and if it is, we go ahead and register it. Once that's in place, we look for this thing called background fetch because that's what we're excited about. If it's there, awesome, we're good to go. If not, well, it's back to the drawing board. But hey, this is what makes building web apps a fun puzzle, right? So imagine you've got a service worker set up on your website and you want to start a background download, maybe for a podcast episode and its artwork. Here's how you'd kick things off. You'd wait for the service worker to be ready, then ask it to fetch the files quietly in the background. You'd give it a title, some icons for display, and tell it the total size to expect. If anything goes wrong, though, you'd catch the error and log it to troubleshoot. That's a neat, user-friendly way to handle large, non-urgent downloads. Let's say you're grabbing a podcast episode to listen to later, and you want to keep an eye on the download progress. Picture this. You've queued up the download using background fetch in a web app, making sure you've got a cool icon and title set for it. Now, to actually track the progress, just hook into the progress event. As the bytes slide in, we're calculating the percentage downloaded and logging it to the console. It's like watching the progress bar fill up, but in code form. Imagine setting up a download that runs in the background, kind of like a silent cyber butler fetching your files. Now, to know whether your butler succeeds or stumbles, you'd listen for two whispers. Background fetch success tells you the mission's complete, a job well done. But background fetch fail is the unfortunate news of failure, and you'll want to handle that gracefully, possibly by letting your user know, discreetly, that the butler dropped the tray. It's all about keeping tabs on those stealthy background tasks. Imagine you've set up some files to be fetched in the background while you continue using your app. Now, it's time to check the results. You'd grab the fetch ID, myFetch, and try to get the background fetch object. If it's not there, it means there's no ongoing fetch with that ID. But if it's there, you can call match all to scoop up all the fetch records. Cycle through them, and boom, you have your requests and responses lined up for review. It's like checking your mailbox for packages you've been waiting for. Imagine you're downloading the latest podcast episode that comes with a cool cover art. With background fetch, you can manage both downloads in one go. The code on screen sets up a background fetch for an audio file and a JPEG image. Once the fetch is initiated, we use match all to operate on each resource. For every piece of content, we wait for the response and then log the successful download. It's like getting your favorite combo meal, but for files. Imagine you're downloading the latest podcast episode, but your internet decides to take a nap. With the background fetch API, your download won't panic. It's like it tucks the download into bed, waits for the internet to wake back up, and then gently nudges the download to continue from where it left off. No angry restarts or lost progress, it's all smooth sailing for your files. It's tech magic that makes life a little less frustrating, giving you that seamless experience we all crave. As much as background fetches are cool for downloading large files on the web, we've got to be careful. Here's a snippet that sets up a background fetch but watches out for battery drain and data limits. See, the script checks if the fetch is canned for these reasons so we can warn users. Remember, no one likes a dead phone or an empty wallet, so coding smartly is key. Keep it user-friendly, and everyone stays happy. When using the background fetch API, remember to always check for permission first. For a smooth experience, keep your UI in sync with the progress, and be mindful of resource management. So here, we're asking for permission, and only if it's granted, we initiate the fetch process. As the files download in the background, our UI is updated to show the current progress. Once the fetch is completed, we handle the result, which could be success or failure. And if permission isn't granted, we log an error. It's all about creating a seamless user experience while being respectful of the user's device and preferences.